Hi everyone, it's Darla at Scrap Happens here with Tuesday's tip. Today I want to show you a technique called stained glass, and you use vellum. You can use your Stampin' Write markers or your Stampin' Blend markers, and you use embossing powder with your heat gun and Versamark. So to get started, here are two cards that I made with this technique. One is using Flirty Flamingo Stampin' Blends. One is using Poppy Parade Stampin' Blends. And I also used Old Olive on there as well. So let's get started. I'm going to just set this aside for a second because I want to show you the process of embossing. I have my stamp set. It's from the Band Together stamp set. You need a stamp, I should tell you this, with a lot of open space so that you can do the coloring and make it look like stained glass. If it's really small spaces, it doesn't work as well. Okay, so I pre-cut a piece of vellum with my rectangle stitched framelits, the second to largest size, and then I pre-cut a Whisper White in the largest size to go underneath the vellum when I'm finished. So I'm going to ink up my stamp with Versamark. Oh, I forgot an important step. The first thing I'm going to do is wipe my embossing buddy over the vellum so that the embossing powder only sticks to the stamped image. There, I stamped it in Versamark. Now, for this card, I used black embossing powder. For this card, I used Whisper White embossing powder. I'm using white on this demonstration because we are no longer going to have the black embossing powder in our new catalog, but we do have white and a few other colors. So next I'm going to just pour my embossing powder over my stamped image, and then I flick it. I'll set this aside and pour it out later. Or I mean pour it back in later. It's important, oh, I missed a spot. Just a second, I missed a couple spots. Okay. It's important with vellum that you don't overheat it because you can melt the paper. So this is why I wanted to show you the heating technique. You need to not keep your heat gun still. So keep moving it so that it doesn't melt your vellum. And then as you can see there, it's getting shiny. Just move it to around the edges. See how quickly that happened? Oh, you can see here, there's no shine. I missed that spot. So just really quickly, I'm going to reheat it because your embossing powder will melt and your vellum will melt. The heat will damage. Too much heat. It's not good. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, now that I have it embossed, is I'm going to take my Stampin' Blend markers. I'm going to use the Poppy Parade because it shows up better for the video. Here's the Poppy Parade. Here is the Flirty Flamingo, which I really like the look of both of them, but my favorite is the Flirty Flamingo. Okay, so next I'm going to take my Stampin' Blends. Oh, I'm going to turn my vellum over so the embossed part is on the front, is on the bottom actually. And I'm just going to color my flowers. This is the light. And then I'm going to add some dark. I'm also going to add some dark where the lines are of the flowers. And I found that I don't have to be super neat because it kind of all blends together anyway. But I do stay in the lines. Next, I'm going to take my lighter Poppy Parade and just kind of color that. I don't know how to fast forward this either, so you're going to just have to bear with me. I'm sorry on the coloring. Then I'm going to just turn it over and show you what it looks like from the front. And so you can see that all those lines that I put kind of blended in. So I'm going to add a little more. I'm going to take my brush in this time. Brush end. It's kind of cool because it kind of gives it a little watercolor effect. But it also makes it look like the stained glass. Then I'm going to color. I found that the dark old olive shows up way better for the stems and the leaves. So I'm just real quick gonna show you what that looks like. And then when you put it on the Whisper White background, it just totally makes it pop. And the really cool thing about coloring these with the blends is that you can put glue dots right under here, right there in the center of the flower, and you can't see it. That's a tricky thing with vellum, is adhering it. I always try to find strategic places to use to adhere it, but you don't have to be as strategic when you have all these colored spots. I did also put some like under the leaves and then under the ribbon where the sentiment was going to be. This little band is made with the detailed band framelits that are go with the Man Together stamp set. Excuse me. So it's a really fun technique. And then on this card, I wanted the ribbon to match my flowers, so I colored it with my Flirty Flamingo my Stampin' Blend. So I really quick want to show you how to do that. I used the dark one for this, but I want to show you how to do it, and I'm going to use my light Flirty Flamingo. I just hold it down. I know I've showed you this in a video before, but I just wanted to remind you. I just hold it down and pull my ribbon through. You can see I missed a spot, so I just pull it through. And this is the Whisper White crinkled seam binding ribbon. So right here again, just hold it down and pull it through. Then your fingers aren't all a mess. It goes through both sides on this. And I think actually on that card, that ribbon will look nicer. So I'm going to switch this one out and put the lighter color. That's why I wanted to try it. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Remember, I used the Band Together stamp set, detailed band framelits, the rectangle stitched framelits. Oh, and I used the Timeless Label Punch on this card to stamp the sentiment in Versamark and heat emboss it with Whisper White embossing powder. I used the crinkled seam binding ribbon I used my Stampin' Blend markers and glue dots. I guess that's it, Versamark. If you have any questions, I'll have all the details on my blog along with the finished cards so that you can go back and look at them. So be sure to go to my blog, Scrap Happens Here with Darla.com. If you like what you see on this video and want to see more, hit subscribe so you don't miss another one of my videos. Thank you so much for stopping by today and letting me share what I love to do with you. And I'll see you next week with Tuesday's tip. Bye.